And welcome back, everybody, to I'm home. I'm back to the TV show. I'm so excited. And I'm here with Angelo Kidman and Rhea Hughes. And I just want to say, guys, I listened to the podcast you did without me. And I sent you a text about this, and you were extremely humble, but you should not have been. Because I'll just say this, and I want to get to you guys in a second, but I just need to say this. The hardest part about being a stand-up comic is everybody that comes to your show, mostly men, think they can do the job that you're doing because they go, well, I'm funny. I could be a stand-up. I would imagine sports radio has a similar problem that every dingback that calls thinks that they could do your job. Let me tell you something right now. Not many people can do this job, but nobody can do it at the level you guys did. I was embarrassed at the shows that I host listening to you guys run this thing. Angelo, you are a master. Rhea, you are a master at this format. It's amazing.
All right, let me just say we do have combined around 60 years of experience.
Yeah.
But let me just say I was happy not to have to prepare this week's show because I like the role I'm in now. I just like being the Al Morganti of this show.
Well, you should be reading a newspaper then, Angela. That would make it the full experience. But so, and this actually leads into the first topic that I want to talk about, which is one of the aspects of doing live communication is having something to say when the light goes on. Doesn't have to be brilliant, but it has to be coherent and ready the moment it's your turn to talk. And I would argue on Sunday, we saw how difficult it is, even when you are the highest paid, most highly trained person in the job, to be an NFL color commentator. Because I'll tell you what, I thought Tom Brady absolutely stunk the joint up on Sunday. And I went on Twitter and I would say that literally everyone else agreed. I saw a hashtag justice for Greg Olson. And my goodness, do I agree?
All right, no, stop right there. All right. Can we just evaluate Brady without praising Greg Olson, who is the most overrated football analyst of all time? All right. He is another Captain Obvious. But Brady, Rhea, I want to hear you first on Brady. What did you think of Brady?
So here's my take on it. Brady was okay. He was not terrible. He wasn't great. He was nervous, which really surprised me for a guy, who's considered the GOAT of the NFL. But he certainly wasn't worth 335 million. Here's where I will give him a lot of praise. And Angelo, you will understand this. The best thing he did is he didn't step on top of Kevin Burkhardt. And he kept his comments short. That's a huge thing when you're learning. Like I after 27 years with Angelo, or 26, 27, I knew when Angelo was going to take a breath. That's how well I knew him. Right. So you just did. It wasn't often, I will say that, but for him to be able to do that, the way they worked that way together, I thought was really good for two. But what I didn't like is he didn't give you any criticism. If you cannot criticize the performance that Deshaun Watson had in that game and all of his baggage, no one's going to be upset if you rip Deshaun Watson. And he deserved it. So that's what disappointed me. That may come, but I didn't think he was great. I didn't think he was terrible. I thought he was okay.
Jay, I thought he was terrible. And for the reason Rhea just said, see, if you're the greatest quarterback of all time and you see a guy playing horribly and making 200 million, whatever it is that jackass makes, all right, you got to do it. And then I realized, all right, I want to watch Jason Kelce on Monday Night Football to see what he is. And he also pulled every punch, had nothing really provocative or interesting to say, nothing negative. I have coined a term for this now, Jay, that I'm hoping will catch on. Now, how we say politically correct when somebody's afraid to say anything that might be misinterpreted. This is athletically correct. These are people that are in the business and don't want to rock the boat of the business. You are in analysis. Analysis does not only entail the positive. It entails what the guy did wrong. And Watson was so bad.
Yeah.
It was screaming out for analysis from the greatest quarterback of all time. He failed. He has a reedy, thin voice. It's kind of annoying. I didn't like that as well.
The best thing I saw on
I mean, 300.
Oh, we lost Angelo there for a second there. Oh, there.
Well,
We
the
lost you.
best thing I saw on social media about Tom Brady's voice, here's the problem is everybody in New England is used to Tom Brady's voice. I've heard it enough because I've heard enough, but people across the country, sound bites. The best line I heard was, could somebody please give Tom Brady a carton of cigarettes to smoke before the next time he comes out? Very politically incorrect. And I'll say one thing about what you say about, with Jason Kelsey and with Tom Brady. Here's where I will give them a little bit of pass. When you walk off the field, although Brady's had a year, Jason's just off, you still know all these guys. And it is hard to learn. The further they get away from being on the field, the more you will hear. It took Troy Aikman a long time, and now Troy Aikman will tell you exactly what he's thinking. He did not do that early on.
I'm with you. How did you like it?
So I thought that the big issue is you don't announce that you're getting paid $350 million before your first game. If you had just heard he signed a entry-level contract, if he was just like, I'm trying it out, you don't stick him in the first slot immediately. You don't pay him $350 million because if it's as you said, Rhea, it's a learning curve. If this was his first time ever doing it, and he was just starting, and he wasn't at the highest level of pay and at the number one slot, I think people would have given him a much bigger pass. The problem is he was getting paid like a superstar, and he's playing like a scrub. And he might get better, but I don't think you can ever undo that first impression that everybody has as this guy is a simp for the league who's getting overpaid to say nothing. Listen, I know you don't like Greg Olsen, but tell me you didn't want him there instead of Tom Brady on Sunday.
Didn't want him there. I wanted silence. All right.
Silence. Okay.
He gives you a speech after every play. Don't give me Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen stinks. All right. Tom Brady was better than Greg Olsen because he talked less.
All right, let's stay in the realm of football. The Eagles played a Friday night game, and I did a little research on this. There is a 1961 rule that I guess JFK was involved in. I don't know. That said that from the third week of September through the second week of December, no NFL games can be played on a Friday night. The ratings were good on Friday. How soon after this do you think that Roger Goodell is in Congress leaning on these people to get rid of the rules so he can have a Friday night game? And are we going to finally be at the point where we're at too much football? Angelo, did you watch? Did you think it was too much? Would you watch a Friday night game on the regular?
I can't believe they haven't reached saturation yet. And I love football. All right. Roger Goodell is a smacked ass. $64 million a year, smacked ass. And all I could think when they panned to the stands in the fourth quarter and showed him sitting there in Brazil with his wife, all I wanted them to do, if they really wanted to tell me a story, go to him in the first quarter when none of the players can stay on their feet playing a football game on a soccer field, which clearly had issues with the turf. All right. No, they waited till the fourth quarter so he could have his chest puffed out. First of all, no, I hope they don't. Friday night is for high schools. Right. Let the high school kids play. That's number one. Number two is, how many nights do we need of this? There's too much night football as it is. I like Sunday at 1 o'clock. And if you poll the fans, they would tell you the same thing. The majority like Sunday at 1. Stop doing that. And one other thing. How much, when you're a billionaire, how much more money do you need? You got to go worldwide now because you don't have every dollar in everybody's pocket? Stop the greed. In fact, this whole show, I'm going to be attacking billionaires again later. Don't miss it.
Yeah, a lot of billionaire bashing on the TV show, which I like. Rhea, did you like the show? Would you watch a Friday night football game?
Well, so here's the thing is they're actually not, Angelo, we're familiar with Andrew Brandt. Angelo, on Villanova, director of sports law. He put out a tweet about it and kind of explained it. I believe it's part of the antitrust that they found the NFL found a loophole because it said third Friday from the third Friday in September. Well, Labor Day was early this year.
Right.
So they were allowed to do it. Labor Day will not be in the next couple of years. So they will not be able to do it unless they do get Congress to overturn it. But overturning it, I think, messes up with their antitrust, which they don't want. So listen, I watched because obviously the Eagles were in it. I have to remember sometimes that Thursday Night Football is on, and usually it's a crappy game.
You're
But,
right.
you know, again, unless the Eagles are playing in it, I'm like, I stay up till about halftime and then I'm going.
Yep.
Yeah, and Friday night is a dead zone anyway. I don't know if
Yeah.
you get beyond the novelty of it, how it'll do. But I
Oh,
don't
and
put
real
any.
quick, Jay, I wanted to mention one thing about it. Caitlin Clark went head to head with the NFL on Friday night. They got, I just want to, it was the network's third most watched WNBA game ever. They got 1.26 million, but they went head to head and got those kind of numbers, which I don't think other major sports get it. So, you know, the WNBA just keeps going up and up and up. And I was shocked that they pulled those kind of numbers against the NFL.
Put compelling players into a compelling storyline and people will watch. It's that simple. All right, I'm going to tell you guys something. I got very nervous listening to the TV show last week as I was flying home. I had it on, and Glenn Macnow, I thought very rightly, said that the election really comes down to Tuesday night. How does she do at the debate? How does Kamala do? Because most people who are on the fence are going to make their decision. This is the one moment where they're going to decide how they feel about Kamala Harris. And let's talk beyond the politics, Rhea. Let's talk about the broadcast. Did you watch? How do you think ABC did, and how do you think Kamala did?
Well, I'll be very honest. I watched clips of it because it was on too late for me. Again,
Right.
all these problems. I wake up at 2:30 in the morning. But it's what I've said about this election all along. It's going to be the people on the fence. They're the ones who will have their minds changed. I know certain publications I go to are pro-Trump, pro-Kamala. The pro-Trump ones, it was rigged. ABC was helping Kamala. The other one, you know, it was helping Trump. So I don't think it's changing anybody's it. But where I will say is that she, you know, as a former prosecutor, she knows how to talk in front of a group. She knows how to debate, and she baited him. And you know, that's all. You know, Trump has a temper. So I think for people who were on the fence, they saw, you know, that she handled them smartly. You know, that's what I saw.
Angelo, in June, you came onto this show and pronounced Biden's candidacy DOA after the
Yes,
debate.
I
And
did.
you were 100% correct. I didn't want to believe it, but you
Yes.
were correct. Angelo, what's your proclamation after last night?
Prior to my radio career, I was once a boxing writer. And in a boxing match, there's a thing called a TKO, a technical knockout.
Yeah.
And this happens, the ref calls off the match when it is so lopsided, they're afraid somebody's going to get seriously hurt. This was a TKO in the final 30 minutes of the thing. And I'll give you the exact moment. This will become a massive, massive thing for GIFs and for all sorts of goofy techno. It is Donald Trump yelling, "They're eating the pets. They're eating the pets."
Already has,
wake
Ange.
it up. Ding, 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 ding. It's over. They're eating the pets in Springfield, Ohio.
Yes.
All right. In fact, just before we started this, Rhea, we paused for a second because Rhea had a delivery and she was
Yes.
afraid her dog Shady was going to bark. And I was just relieved that Shady wasn't lunch, because apparently now people are eating Fluffy and Rex if they get hungry. And it's the dumbest damn thing.
Yes.
And she baited him into it. And yeah, this now I just need to say a billionaire thing, because this applies to Jeff Lurie, the owner of the Eagles. It applies to Donald Trump and pretty much every other billionaire out there. What made this debate great for me was a billionaire not hearing how smart he is every second by every bootlicker he surrounds himself with. She was telling him, "You're an idiot. What you're saying is wrong. It's stupid. You're lying. Rhea's right. She sounded like a prosecutor.
Yeah.
Right.
And he couldn't handle it because he's a billionaire who normally would never have to listen to that. Watch his rallies, how fawning everyone is around him. He had to deal with it. Look, I'm not a big Trump fan, but I'm not nuts on either side of this. And I'll just tell you, she flip-flopped. She evaded all the things that were going to cause her problem. And he stepped right in it when he yelled out that basically they're eating their dogs and they're eating their cats, because that is insane. Yes. And it's not accurate. And he got called for it by ABC and other people because they needed to at least have some semblance of accuracy on the debate. The winner was Kamala by TKO.
Agreed. I actually think ABC did a great job. I know that the people on the right don't believe that, but to push back on Trump's, shall we say, not great relationship with the truth in a way that maybe wasn't confrontational, but was just very straight-laced. And no, that's not true, Mr. Trump, but moving on. I think that's difficult to do, and they did a great job. So from a TV broadcast point of view, they also did a good job. Okay, so Angelo, Wednesday we were texting back and forth about what I think is in a very kind of quiet way, one of the best shows on TV. And I know Rhea agrees with me. And you said you were going to check it out. Did you watch Slow Horses this week, Angelo? And if you did, what was your opinion of Slow Horses?
It is not normally something I would check, but when I am told by Rhea Hughes that a British show is great, I must check it out. And I sat down with my wife to watch Slow Horses. And the first 15 minutes were as good an action sequence as I've ever seen on television. Yeah. It was in an airport. I don't know how they got all those. They can't all be extras. I don't know how they filmed it. It was phenomenal. And at the end of this scene, there's even a great twist.
Right.
And I was hooked. And I watched the rest of the episode. And Gary Oldman is in it. And I read a review, Jay. I had to mention this to you yesterday. A review said the same thing. You can almost smell Gary Oldman. He's so dirty looking and yeah. But the truth is, I was totally hooked by it. I looked over at my wife, and she was sound asleep. She didn't even make it through the action sequence. So I want to share this with her. This seems like a show we would both enjoy. So I gave her the assignment 2 more times. And both times she said to me, I'm sorry, I fell asleep again. I fell asleep.
Wow.
Wow. So I've only seen the pilot, but I'm in. It looks fantastic. Yeah. Once again, you guys are right.
It does not let up, right, Rhea? I mean, it's
so I'm very excited because I get to watch episode 2 today because they drop it once a week. So just to let everybody know, Slow Horses is about a team of MI5 agents who are like disgraced. They've done something wrong. They're not fired yet, but they put him in, and Jackson Land, played by Gary Oldman, who's phenomenal, is in charge of them. And this season 4 starts with an explosion. There's a terrorist plot. Then it goes to River, and I don't want to give any of the plot away because it's so well done, the first episode. But River is one of the agents, was raised by his grandfather, who is a retired senior intelligence officer, who unfortunately is starting to show signs of dementia. And Louisa, one of the other agents, says, you got to go see him. You got to get him into a home. And then all kinds of crazy stuff ensues. For people who are fans of Slow Horses, Standish is back. I was very disappointed when she quit last year, but she's back because I think she's an integral part of how the story is told. And I can't wait to watch episode 2 today.
Yeah, they Jackson Lamb, Gary Oldman has created an indelible TV character. And, this is based on a series of novels. Apparently there's 10 novels, and they do 6 episodes, 1 novel per season.
Yeah.
So you get we've talked a lot about how we want more TV episodes. I think this is the perfect amount because you never lose momentum through the 6 episodes, but you feel like you get a complete story, even though it's a shortened season. And a lot of that novelistic flavor gets put in there. I'm sorry it took so long for me to get on the Slow Horses, to get on the saddle of the Slow Horses.
Yes.
But Rhea is absolutely correct. If you don't have Apple TV Plus, get it. It's maybe the best streaming service around, and grab it. Now, Angelo
and real quick, you must have the closed captioning on because Jackson Lamb's accent is a little tough in the beginning. You'll pick it up after, like, probably by episode 2, but it is a little hard to pick up his amazing dialogue. So definitely closed caption.
So Angelo had a great idea because this is not a show that he would normally watch, right? He would not normally watch a British show like this, but Rhea, gave him the idea to do it, and he really liked it. So here's what we want to do: we want to do a fan initiative. You can click on the button that says "Send us an email" or "Send us a text," and it'll go right to us. And we want you to sign your name if you want. You don't have to. And we want you to give us a suggestion that is not something we would normally watch. So for Angelo, that would be an animated show, right? What animated show should Angelo watch?
Don't limit it to that.
Okay,
If that's the one we decide, I'll watch a stupid cartoon. But you can tell my attitude is already not great, right?
Yeah.
And for Rhea, a schmaltzy romance. She would, right? But maybe it'll connect with her. Maybe it's got a little something, like when Harry Met Sally. It's like pretty good.
Right.
There are ones in the genre that are good. We want something to stream that we really would never otherwise check out. And with you, Jay, I don't know, what would be your thing that you wouldn't like?
Yeah, I was thinking about this. In your email, you were like, Jay, you pretty much like everything.
You do.
I am a little bit like Mikey. I just like to have images moving in front of me on the screen. That makes me happy. But I'll tell you what, trashy reality shows, that my wife loves, so that she would actually enjoy watching with me. So if you have a good trashy reality show, that would be one that I don't really enjoy, but send it to me. If you go in our podcast description, there's a link up at the top that says "Send us a text." Click on it. We will say who it was who gave us the suggestion, and we will watch your suggestion if you send it to us. And we want to interact with you guys because you're our fans and we love you, but not as much as we love our sponsor.
Yes.
Steven Singer. Guys, it's been 2 weeks. I haven't been able to talk about Steven Singer. Tell me about how great he is.
All right, here's the thing. So I guess it was just a weird week for me. I saw the final season of Suits. The final season of Suits is really awful. It is so bad. And there's a couple of marriages at the end with the rings. Then I checked out The Perfect Couple, which I'm going to review in a minute, on Netflix. That was set in a wedding. And I'm going, I know Steven. Steven sponsored our wing bowl. Steven Singer should get these shows to use his rings because they look better than the rings they're using on these very high-priced TV shows. And that's the thing about Steven. Steven will tell you about all the great stuff he's got. But what it comes down to is when you're making the big move, go to the right guy, Steven Singer. His rings are amazing. My wife wears one every day. It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
What I love most about Steven, when you go in there, what he always says is, I believe in love. And he will get you a ring that will just show that to the special person in your life, and it'll be awesome.
Absolutely. The other corner of the wall, that the great Steven Singer Jewelers.
And it's IHateStevenSinger.com. And I did get a text message from one of our fans that said, you always mention the street name, but you never mention the town. So that's a good point. We should mention, because we're national.
City, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Yes. Get on a plane and fly to Newark. Don't fly to Philadelphia International because it's the worst airport in America. And take a cab down to Philly and go get yourself a great ring from StevenSinger.com. Okay, guys. So we have Rhea here. Now, I know you wanted to do Slow Horses. You could talk about whatever you want, Rhea. I want to hear your opinion about Slow Horses season 4, episode 1. If you want to review that, however you want to do it is fine by me.
Yeah. So just real quick, season 4. It opens with there's a bomb that goes off, and so they're kind of looking at that, but then it goes into, you think that one of the main characters, something really bad has happened to. And so I don't really, because I know people are watching it because some people they save up all the seasons. Like, it's hard for me to wait week to week.
Yes.
But I will just say this. Gary Oldman is so phenomenal of an actor. Like, I want to go back and watch anything he's ever been in. And Angelo, you're right. I feel like I can smell his farts through my TV. There's no doubt. But it's the same characters from the previous season. They've got a new mystery that they're dealing with. But I just don't want to give anything away from the first episode. I will just say, if you are a fan of Slow Horses, you absolutely will not be disappointed.
And
Right.
I'll just throw in my 2 cents here. If you're one of the Broccoli's, how about River Cartwright for James Bond? Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there.
100%.
He's a good-looking guy. He can play funny. He can play serious. That's my vote for the next James Bond. I know he's blonde. They probably want to get back to a dark-haired James Bond, but I'm 100% behind him. Did you have another British show, Rhea, or did you want to do teen? It's up to you.
No, I'll save that. I'll save that for next week because it's a little bit of a longer review. Teen, I know you're going to love this, Jay, because I know you've seen this movie. Clark and I watched The Fall Guy this weekend. And
Yes.
I just have to say, and it's available. It's available on several platforms, but you do have to either buy it or rent it. You can rent it for $5.99. Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, we loved it. Ryan Gosling is an underrated, funny actor because you think of him in all these kind of serious things. Clark loved him in Barbie.
Yep.
Thought he was fantastic. He and Emily Blunt have really good chemistry. He plays a stuntman who gets into all kinds of trouble. There's the leading actor is missing, and he may be involved in a really bad murder. But he and Emily Blunt are phenomenal. I don't know the stunt director. I don't know the guy who runs the stunt guy. He's the real tall black guy. He was in Spencer Confidential.
Right. Yeah.
He's a terrific actor, and I'm so glad. Like, I loved him in Spencer Confidential. He's great as the head of the stunt guys. I thought it's a fun for a movie to watch on a Friday night instead of watching NFL football. The Fall Guy is a fun movie.
As I said when it came out, what more do you want from a movie than beautiful movie stars being charming with each other and there being stunts? I don't want anything more in my life. It makes me so happy. It was one of the best movies of the year. Still might be my favorite movie of the year.
We loved it. We absolutely loved it.
I cannot recommend it highly enough, and I'm so glad you liked it, Rhea. I wish it had done better in the theater so we could have 10 more of them, but maybe it'll do well on video and we'll get more. Angelo, what do you got for us? Bring us home, buddy.
Let me just agree with Rhea and Ryan Gosling. The Saturday Night Live episode that he hosted is up for an Emmy. And his Beavis and Butthead with Mikey Dane, it's absolutely fantastic. He is extremely versatile and very funny.
Yeah.
I got 2 picks this week. One I liked a lot and one I love. What I liked a lot is The Perfect Couple on Netflix, the latest in a long series of TV series now being done by Nicole Kidman. I don't think she ever turns anything down. And this is one of those typical TV streamers now where everybody is pretty much a bad person.
Yeah.
I like that. And she's really bad. She's this famous author who's real prissy. And she's married to Liev Schreiber. And I just got to ask you that.
Yeah.
Because he's always in stuff that they say how great looking he is.
Yeah.
I don't think he's great looking at all. He's got a big fat face and it's bristly all the time. And
I have to say, because I clicked on it a couple times because it really does look interesting. I do find him somewhat attractive. I can't lie. It's like in a rugged way. Like, I loved him in Spotlight. And I know he played a certain kind of role in Spotlight, as the publisher or editor or whatever. I'm a Liev Schreiber fan. So
the voice goes a long way, right, Rhea? The voice when he speaks. I feel like
he's done NFL films. He's narrated for NFL films. So I do love a good voice.
Yeah, good.
And I love him and Ray Donovan, but I don't know. Anyway, he ends up. I developed a new Hollywood crush from this show called. Her name is Megan Fahey, and she plays Merritt Monaco. And I don't want to give anything away about it, but you want to see a beautiful woman. That is an incredibly beautiful woman. I think it's 6 episodes, and you will get caught up in the lives of these awful people. I recommend highly The Perfect Couple.
Does Nicole Kidman's face move in it?
Yeah.
Somebody said to me, Rhea, that they saw her in person and that it appears that her entire face now is plastic. But I don't know. but yeah, she's had work done, and I wish she hadn't have, because
Yeah.
she's so beautiful.
Yeah.
No need to tempt with perfection. The better thing, and Jay, you got to check this out for me. I want you to talk about it next week.
Sure.
It's on Max. It's called Wise Guy, David Chase and the Sopranos.
Oh,
And
yes.
it's a 2-part show on how they made maybe the greatest series ever. And I'm going to tell you, they had great audition tapes of famous people who tried to play Tony Soprano,
Wow.
Carmela, the wife, and some of the main parts. It's so good because and I don't want to give anything away. Much like the show, the ending of the 2-part documentary is very memorable. That's
Wow.
all I'm going to say. You got it, Jay. Please promise me you're going to check it out.
It's not, no homework for me because I'm in 100%. I agree with you. I don't think it might be the best show of all time. I think it is the best show of all time. I think that there's never been a show more singular than The Sopranos. It's just phenomenal.
And the stories that the creator David Chase tells are phenomenal too. It is great. It is just like the show itself. It is a great documentary. 2 parts, worth every second.
I'm in 100%. Angela, what do we talk about this week?
Well, if you want to see Tom Brady fall on his face again, he'll be on Fox again this weekend. You can check that out. If you want to check out the NFL, go to the Red Zone channel. Nobody does it better. It's fantastic. If you want to see the debate, it's everywhere. You can't miss that. Slow Horses is on Apple Plus. Check it out. That is also our Brit pick because season 4 just dropped. If you want a teen thing, The Fall Guy, Rhea recommends highly. It's on demand right now. The Perfect Couple's on Netflix, and Wise Guy is on Max. Check it all out.
And you can go to IHateStevensinger.com to visit our wonderful sponsor who's based in Philadelphia, for those that are wondering. And you can also go to AngeloKitali.com or Amazon.com to pick up Loud, Angelo's book about how he became one of the best broadcasters of all time. You can get the story right there. Also, just a little personal news. I'm now writing the humor column for South Jersey Magazine. Yeah. It's the end of the magazine. It's the old Big Daddy slot. Big Daddy used to do this, and now I'm writing it as well. So if you're in South Jersey, it'll be delivered to your house whether you want it or not. And if you're not in South Jersey, you can check it out online.
Jay, I want to end big today, okay?
Yeah.
They're eating the pets. They're eating the pets.
We'll see you next week.
The cats. They're eating the pets.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.